Alright, so look, number 1. A meatloaf recipe calls for 7/8 cup of breadcrumbs for the loaf and the topping. Brian divides the breadcrumbs equally into 2 bowls to use for the loaf and the topping. What fraction of the breadcrumbs will be in each bowl? Make sure you put your numbers in the correct order. Follow all of your steps. Do you understand? Alright, number 2, find the difference and write it in simplest form. Remember, there's 2 different ways that you can solve this. There's a longer way and a short way. You do the way that works best for you. Got it? Number 3, Zach has a dozen apples. He cuts each apple into fourths. How many 1/4 size pieces of apple does he have? Hint. Do you know how many are in a dozen? If you do not, it is hanging in this room somewhere to help you. It is hanging in this room somewhere to help you. Susie spent 4 2/4 hours on Monday and 3 5/12 hours on Tuesday working on a history project. How many hours in total did she spend working on the project? And then Ronnie is decorating a banner for a parade. He uses a piece of red ribbon that is 3/4 yard long. He also needs a blue ribbon that is 5 times as long as the red ribbon. How much blue ribbon does Ronnie need? Show your work, dress your numbers, make sure you are boxing and labeling. Do you understand?
Yes.
Be busy.
7/8 cups of breadcrumbs. And he divides it into 2 separate. It says that he divides the breadcrumbs equally into 2 bowls to use.
Si él lo divide en 2 partes, ¿qué fracción hace? Cuando divides algo en mitad, ¿qué es la fracción? Half, 1/2, right? So he has 7/8 and he's divided them in half. And the question says, what fraction of breadcrumbs will be in each bowl? So what are you going to do? Yes.
You need to be working faster. You should be further along this by now.
Okay.
Good. So now you should be finished with number 1. What's happening here? Okay, look at your operation that you said, right?
So you change it into any fractions, so 4
So you
times
fix that.
8 is 32 plus 1 is 33.
Make sure that you are not picking answers that are impossible based on the information provided to you. You got 5 minutes left.
Eso, se van 4 una vez.
4 minutes.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
All right,
The
to
other
the
one
left.
is,
To the left, to the left. Everything I know gets passed to the left.
All right, number 1, read it nice and loud. A meatloaf recipe, go.
A meatloaf recipe calls for 7/8 cups of breadcrumbs for the loaf and the topping. Brian divides the breadcrumbs equally into 2 bowls to use for the loaf and the topping. What fraction of breadcrumbs will be in each bowl?
Okay, circle. Come on, fast.
7/8 cups of breadcrumbs.
7/8 cup of breadcrumbs. What else?
2 bowls.
What's happening? Two bowls. What else? Underline.
What fraction of breadcrumbs will be in each bowl?
What's the very first word that I need to box? The very first word that tells me if I'm adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. What is the very first word, Daniel? No, the very first word that I should box. Divides. What is the next word that I need to box? It tells me if I'm multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting. What's the next word? Daquan.
Equally.
Divides equally, and what is the last word that I need to box, everybody?
Each.
Each. Divides equally and each. All 3 tell me that I'm what?
Dividing.
Dividing. So what is being divided? 7/8 cup of breadcrumbs or 2 bowls? What is being divided?
7/8 cups of breadcrumbs.
Speak up nice and loud. Say it again.
7/8 cups of breadcrumbs.
7/8 cup. Somebody tell me why it's 7/8 cups. I keep hearing an S added to the end of that. Why is it 7/8 cup? Nice and loud. LaBelle. Don't say because.
7/8 is a half of 1.
7/8 is a half of 1 whole. Does that make sense?
7/8 is a part of the whole.
7/8 is a part of a whole. What's another way we can say that? 7/8 is part of a whole. 7/8 is what, Sophia? Less than 1 whole. So do we add an S if it's less than 1?
No.
No. Spit out your gum. 7/8 cup is being divided into what, everybody?
2 wholes.
Say it again.
2 wholes.
2 bowls. Make my whole number 2 a
Fraction by giving it a denominator of 1.
Okay, first step, vocab and numbers. First step, everybody's hand should be up. Or my next step, I guess I should say. My next step, vocab and numbers. Xavion.
Dividend 7/8 stays the same.
Awesome. The dividend 7/8.
Stay the same.
Next step. Next step. Justice. No.
Numerator 2.
No, we're not on that step yet. You're missing something very important.
I get a multiplication.
Okay, I don't like the way he's saying that. Who can say that better? Demaya.
Make your equation a multiplication.
I don't like the word make. It's not what we wrote in our notes. That's not what we've been saying in class.
Change.
Huh?
Change.
No? No sway? Rewrite our division problem as a?
Multiplication problem.
Rewrite our division problem as a multiplication problem. Dividend 7/8 stays the same. Rewrite our division problem as a multiplication problem. Next step. This is the big step. Vocab and numbers. I want somebody to stand up and do the moves. Vocab and numbers. Everybody scared? Nobody can do it?
I haven't seen the moves.
I know, Miss Van Zyle's been out for a while, so you guys need to show her how much smarter you guys have gotten the past few weeks. Bradley, nice and loud. You better get it all.
Take your numerator.
Oh, he's missing something very important. What are we finding? That fancy R word.
Reciprocal. In order to
Find the
find the reciprocal by taking.
of the what? You're missing another vocab word. This is the dividend. This is my what?
Find the reciprocal of the divisor by taking the numerator 2 and the denominator 1 and swapping them.
To become?
1.
Okay, everybody stand up. We're going to do that. That was not good. All right, we're going to find the, what's that fancy word?
Reciprocal.
Of
Divisor 2 over 1.
by taking the
Numerator 2.
and the
Denominator 1.
and
Swapping.
to become
1/2.
1/2. Now I just multiply as normal. Multiply my numerator. 7 times 1 equals what?
7.
Denominators. 8 times 2 equals what?
16.
What do I ask myself at the end of any fraction question?
Can I simplify?
I simplify 7/16.
No.
Why not? Hands. Why not? Don't say it. Make sure you say the numbers. Karma.
7/16 do not have any common factors.
7 and 16 do not have any
Common
Are you
factors.
going to speak? 7 and 16 do not have any common factors. What are we measuring in?
Cup.
Up, because 7/16 is what?
Less than 1 whole.
Less than 1 whole. Find the difference. Go.
Find the difference and write it in simplest form.
Okay, what's the first word that I need to box?
Difference.
Difference. Hands. Difference. Everybody is the
Answer to a subtraction problem.
answer to a subtraction problem. I'm going to pick somebody and tell me what simplest form means.
I don't know.
Ooh. Ooh. Who should I pick? Who should I pick? You want me to pick you? 25. Nice and loud. Come on, you don't have to get on your chair.
To reduce a fraction as low as it can go.
What's simplest form mean, everybody?
To
2.
reduce a fraction as low as it can go.
Alright, so I have 8 and 1/4. Let's try to go through this super fast because this is our big long one that we have. Can I subtract these mixed numbers right now the way they are?
No.
Why not?
The denominators are not the
Can
same.
you convert one or both?
One.
Which one?
8 and 1/4.
Means it half?
The denominator of 8.
Okay. Vocab and numbers. No, pick number 25 again. Not you. 27. Come on, Miss White. Nice and loud. Hold still.
Multiply your numerator and denominator.
What's he missing?
Numbers.
Multiply your numerator 1 and the denominator 4 by 2 equal 8. 8 and 2 8.
8 and 2 what?
8 and 2 8.
8 and 2 eighths. So 8 and 1/4 converted to what?
8 and 2 8.
Minus.
2 and 3 8.
Now can I subtract these mixed numbers?
No.
Somebody tell me why. Hands. Why, Kenny?
Because
Nah.
because the
No,
numerator,
you don't start with because.
the numerators.
What about the numerators?
You can't subtract 2 over 3.
I can 2 over 3?
3 over 2.
What are you talking about over?
That's fine. You can't subtract 3. From 2.
I cannot subtract 3 from 2. I cannot subtract 2 minus 3. So let's do the short way first. Short way first. I saw a lot of people doing the short way. That made me happy. That'd make your life easier. So if I'm solving the short way, which number do I look at first? The 8 or the 2 eighths?
8.
8. What do I do with the 8? What do I do with the 8, Sophia?
Make it 1 less.
1 less. I take 1 away, which would be what?
7.
7. I need to make a hole for the hole that I just took away. So what would my numerator and my denominator have to be, everybody?
8.
Why 8? Why not 6/6 or 3/3?
Because the
My denominator is already a what?
8.
Okay, so I have 7 and 8 eighths. Now what do I do with that 2 eighths?
Add it on.
What?
Add it on.
What's 7 and 8 eighths plus 2 eighths equal?
7 and 10 eighths.
Oops. Aw. I wrote 7 and 10 tenths, sorry. 7 and 10 eighths minus what?
2 and 3 eighths.
Now can I subtract?
Yes.
Okay, somebody tell me the next step. Vocab and numbers. Vocab and numbers. Jasmine.
Subtract the whole number 7 and whole number 2,
Equals?
which equals 5.
7 minus 2 equals 5. Everybody denominator 8.
Stay the same.
Now I gotta subtract my numerators. 10 minus 3 equals what?
7.
So my answer is 5 and 7 eighths. Now let's go back to the long way. Are you ready? Okay, so what's the long way? What do I have to do to 8 and 2 eighths and 2 and 3 eighths if I can't subtract the mixed numbers? What's the other option? What's the other option? I can what? I can what, Maria? What's that C word? Convert them into what? Convert them into improper fractions. So I'm going to do 8 and 2 eighths with you. Nice and loud. The denominator 8?
Stay the same.
What do I do with my denominator 8 and my whole number 8?
Multiply.
What is 8 times 8, Lavelle?
64.
64. What do I do with my numerator 2?
Add it on.
Add it on. 64 plus 2 equals what?
66.
So 8 2 eighths converted to what?
66.
Say that again. 8 and 2 eighths converted to what?
66 eighths.
Okay, 2 and 3 eighths. Convert it for me nice and loud. Mia. First step.
The denominator 8 stays the same.
The denominator 8 stays the
Same.
Get your hair out of your face. Turn around and look.
Multiply denominator 8 and the whole number 2 to equal 6. No, plus the denominator 3 to equal.
Wait, start that over.
Multiply the denominator 8 times the whole number 2. Add on the numerator 3 to equal 19 eighths.
8 times 2 is 16, plus 3 more is 19. Okay? Denominator 8,
Stay the same.
66 minus 19, do it. All right, 66 minus 19 equals what?
47.
47 eighths is?
An improper fraction that we need to convert into a mixed number by dividing the numerator 47 by the denominator 8.
Okay. Why is 47 eighths an improper fraction? Somebody tell me that really fast. Julie, why is 47 eighths an improper fraction?
47 eighths is an improper fraction because the numerator 47 is greater than the denominator.
That was beautiful, Julie. Thank you. All right, 8 divides into 47 how many times?
5.
5 times 8 is?
40.
47 minus 40?
7.
What's my whole number?
5.
Numerator?
7.
Denominator?
8.
Whew. That wears me out every time. All right, so we got the same answer 2 different ways, right? All right, can we go through these next ones?
Yes.
All right, Zach has a dozen apples. Go.
Zach has a dozen apples. He cuts each apple into fours. How many 1/4 size pieces of apple does he have?
Okay, stop. Circle. We don't need to say the hint again. Circle.
Dozen apples.
A dozen apples. What else?
1/4 size pieces of apple.
Okay, 1/4 size pieces of apple. Underline.
How many 1/4 size pieces of apple does he have?
Box. What's the first word I need a box? A dozen eggs. Cuts.
Each apple.
Cuts and
Each.
he's cutting each apple into fourths. What's he doing to the apples?
Divided.
Dividing. I saw some people on here that didn't know something very important to answering this question. What was the very important information that you needed to know in order to correctly answer this question?
What is a dozen?
How much is a dozen?
12.
12. I saw somebody write this. Is that a dozen?
No.
No, that's one part of a dozen. 1/12 of a dozen. So what's being divided? 12 apples or 1/4 size pieces?
1/4 size pieces.
I'm splitting a piece of an apple into 12 whole apples.
No.
What's being divided?
12 apples.
12 apples. You guys need to speak faster and louder, please. 12 apples are being divided into what?
1/4 size pieces.
Say it again.
1/4 size pieces.
Make my whole number 12.
A fraction by giving it a denominator of 1.
Okay, let's see if we can do these steps now perfectly, because on our first one we had some mistakes. First step, our next step, vocab and numbers. Next step, vocab and numbers. Sanae, I've not heard from you yet today. The
dividend, say, the dividend 12
over.
over 1, apples stays the same.
The dividend, 12 over 1, everybody.
Stays the same.
Justice, what's my next step?
The divisor.
So this is twice now.
The make your equation in more.
We talked about this last time. I don't like the word make. You better get out your notes if you don't know. So all you people don't know? Or are you just making sure you know?
Rewrite the division problem as a multiplication.
Everybody say that?
Rewrite the division problem as a multiplication problem.
Alright, big step. I want all the vocab. All of the vocab. All of the vocab. Markel.
Find the reciprocal of 1/4.
He's missing something. You're missing something.
What's that?
The what 1/4?
The divisor
So start over.
the reciprocal of the divisor 1/4 by taking the numerator 1 and the denominator 4 and swapping.
Numerator.
1 and the denominator 4 swapping.
Let's do that together. Everybody. Find the
Reciprocal.
Stop. Say it again. All together. Everybody standing up. Have you known
No, 48, comma, 1/4 size pieces.
48 1/4 size pieces. There you go. I was getting ready to write 1/4 size pizzas. I could have some pizza right now. All right, Susie Smith, go.
Susie spent 4 hours on Monday, and 3
Start over. That was horrible. And go. And
12 hours on Tuesday working on a history project. How many hours in total did she spend working on the project?
okay, let's go through these faster. Again, circle.
4 hours
That
on
is not
Monday.
faster. I feel like I'm at the old folks' home. What else?
4 and 5.
What else?
3 and 5, 12 hours on Tuesday.
Underline.
How many hours in total did she spend working on her project?
Box.
Total.
Tells me to what, Sadie? Add. What am I adding with my numbers dress? Axel.
4 and 2/4 hours on Monday, plus 3 and 5 12 hours on Tuesday.
Can I add these mixed numbers right now the way they are?
No.
Why not?
The denominators are not the same.
Convert one or both.
1.
Which one?
4 and 2/4.
Please add.
A denominator of 12.
Okay. Angel. Bradley, you can drop your clip. You're not paying attention. 4 times what equals 12? So start over. Four and what's two? Thank you. Good. All right. So 4 and 2/4 converted to what, everybody?
4 and 6 12.
Plus my 3 and 5 12. Sadie, next step, vocab and numbers. What is my next step? I'm adding mixed numbers. Equals what? 4 plus 3. 7, denominator 12. And 6 plus 5, numerators. 11, what am I measuring in? Hours, there we go. All right, last one, nice and loud. Ronnie, go.
Ronnie is decorating a banner for a parade. He uses a piece of red ribbon that is 3/4 yard long. He also needs a blue ribbon that is 5 times as long as the red ribbon. How much blue ribbon does Ronnie need?
Okay, circle.
3/4.
What's 3/4 yard long?
Red ribbon.
Say it again. So what do I need to circle?
Red ribbon that is 3/4 yard long.
Okay, what else?
Blue ribbon that is 5 times as long as the red ribbon.
Underline.
How much blue ribbon does Ronnie need?
What do I need to box, Hobby? Times. What's that tell me to do? What am I multiplying, Hobby? 3/4 yard.
5
What operation do I put between there? So I'm dividing? Multiply. Make my whole number 5, eh?
Fraction by giving a denominator of 1.
Next step, Bradley. Multiply, or vocab and numbers.
Multiply your numerator 3 and your numerator 5 both.
Could it be that you're not paying attention? Because I have a feeling you're paying attention.
Multiply your numerator 3 by your numerator 5 equal 15 as your numerator, and multiply your denominator 4 and your denominator 1 by your denominator 1 to equal your denominator 4.
Daquan, tell me about 15 fourths.
15 fourths is an improper, no,
Yeah.
it's an improper fraction that we need to convert, and so it makes one by dividing the numerator 15 by the denominator 4.
Good. One more time. Remind me why 15 fourths is improper, Lavelle.
15 fourths is an improper fraction because the numerator 15 is greater than the denominator 4.
Okay, good. 4 divides into 15. Kenny, how many times?
3 times.
3 times 4. Sophia.
12.
12. Esmeralda. 15 minus 12.
3.
Brian, what's my whole number?
3.
Numerator.
3.
Denominator.
4.
What am I measuring in?
Yard.
There you go. Switch back, make your corrections. You got all correct, then you need to immediately be working on your application questions. Axel,
All right.
good? Jasmine,
2 work and 2 work.
Jasmine, it was something to do with your converting. Yeah. You messed up. Sanaya,
2 words, 3 C.
hold on a minute. What's wrong? Sanaya,
2 words, 3 C.
and what?
So let's do 4. What's the number?
4?
Yes.
What's wrong with number 4?
I added the
Lavelle,
So the first thing we do is convert this, right? So
Markel,
how are we gonna convert?
3 C.
We're gonna make it into an 8, right? So 1/4.
Sophia.
3D.
So since you picked 3D, let's talk about that. I want to talk about that. Eyes up here. You get the lights, Markel. So what was the answer to 3D?
2 and 3.
What did that? What was that?
148.
Remember, we can't do that,
1/48, 1/4 size pieces.
right?
Let's talk about that, and let's talk about why that is an impossible answer. What kind of number is 1/48? What?
Fraction.
What's the definition of a fraction?
Part of the whole.
Part of a whole. How many is one whole? Or, I just told you. How many is a whole?
1 whole.
Part of one whole. So, can anybody tell me why that is an impossible answer based on the question? Why is that impossible? Go back and read the first sentence. Read it.
Zach has a dozen apples.
So somebody tell me, why when he cuts up the apples, he's not going to end up with part of one whole apple? Why is this impossible? I really don't have more than 3 people that see why that's impossible. Brian.
It's supposed to be 8 over 8, right? And we have to add the 2's, right? You see that?
What's the first
So this is
sentence?
gonna be
Zach, what?
7 and 10.
So if he has a dozen apples, Isaac, here, look at me.
7.
If he has a dozen apples, how many apples is that?
12.
And he's cutting them into pieces. Here's my apples.
7 minus 2 is? 7 minus 2.
See the apples?
Yes.
See the apples?
Yes.
What's he doing with these apples?
And 8 stays the same.
You guys need to speak. What's he doing with the apples?
Cut them into fours.
So if he's cutting them into fourths, stop writing while I'm speaking. If he's cutting them into fourths, he's cutting each apple into how many equal parts? Hands. He's cutting each apple into how many equal parts? Flip your paper over and write how many parts that is. He's cutting it into. I just want one number. I don't need a fraction. I just want to know if he's cutting it into fourths, how many equal parts is he cutting each apple into?
¿Cuál estás haciendo? Oh, okay.
Can you put a number? Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
¿Hiciste el número 2?
If he's cutting it into fourths, he's not cutting it into 2 parts. That would be halves. You need to have a number. If I come around and you do not have a number, you're going to drop your clip. Good. Yep. Okay. So if he's cutting the apple into fourths, that means he's cutting each apple into how many equal parts?
4.
4. Eyes up here. So he's taking this apple. And he's cutting it to how many equal parts?
4.
There we go. This apple.
4.
Get the idea?
Yes.
Okay. So then you're picking, and we want to know how many parts he's ending up with. But then you picked 1/48, which is just part of one apple. That would be this. That would be that. Did Zach just end up with just this little piece right here?
No.
So why is this an impossible answer? This number is greater than 1 whole apple or less than 1 whole apple?
Less than 1 whole
It's
apple.
less than 1 whole apple, and Zach is starting with what?
12
What?
apples.
So you need to I can't talk. You need to make sure you write me an explanation as to why that is an impossible answer.
Oh,
Understand me? Julie. Good. Kenny.
Alright.
Good. Amari.
Two wrong.
Xavion.
Alright.
Sadie.
Make sure you dress your numbers.
Daniel. Maria.
2, 5, 6, 5,
Brian. Let me see.
Number 1.
Lionel. Or he's not here anymore, is he?
Number 1.
Mia.
What? 7/8 divided by
8 and 3.
Alright. So put it down.
Did you miss all of the dividing?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You gotta get caught up. Esmeralda. Good. Melanie.
So
still working back there? Angel.
7/8 divided by 2.
2 more and 4. 8.
That's
Tommy.
Did you get this one wrong? Okay, why are you doing it again then? I mean, you can copy
Save you
off
out
what
me
you
get
have
Bobby's
there.
paper. Bradley. You need to write an explanation as to why 5C is an impossible answer too.
Oh, what he got wrong? Okay.
All right, Justice.
Alright.
Good. Come on in here. Karma.
Alright.
Good. Demaya.
3D.
Sentence. 1, What did you pick?
Me.
Yes?
A.
Josue?
Alright.
Good. Larry?
1C, 3D, and 4 red.
Okay, put your corrections up here.
How do you